here for finally another YouTube video. And today I am going to be coming back to the UGA and I'm going to be going over my draft. It's been a while, and before I begin talking about this, I like to say a lot of this stuff, like this layout, is credited to R.EX from the UGA. I'll put him in the description, his YouTube channel. A lot of the graphics that you'll see, including the intro you just saw, are from R.EX or Rex. And also, I didn't post the last 2 weeks of the UGA. I just didn't want to. I just didn't feel like editing it, and I just didn't have the mood to edit it, so I felt like, why do we don't want to? I was pretty negative in those videos anyway, so I have the recordings, but I'm probably not going to post them. I also have a capture card for this season of the UGA, which is going to change up my recordings and increase the quality as well. But let's get into this draft. This was Season 2 draft. I'm, of course, the moderator of the division, and competition is really fierce. So my first pick was Stakataka. I had been shiny hunting Stakataka. It took me 153 Den Adventures to finally get it. And I really love Stakataka as a Pokemon. It's one of the slowest it's the slowest viable Pokemon in the game, in my opinion. And it's really interesting because it's very defensive with its base defense stat of 211. Its special defense is also 101. And its attack is 131, so it's a very bulky wall Pokemon. And its speed stat is 13 at base, so it's also extremely slow. And it has the ability Beast Boost, so it can become a really offensive wall. It can set its own Trick Room. I believe it can set Light Screen and Reflect if it so pleases also. And it gets a really threatening move that it really shouldn't ally switch to. So all in all, I thought Stakataka was a really good pick for this, as it just does so much that I want, and it's a really good core for a lot of this season. So my next pick was Cinderace. I saw Cinderace open, and it was my free pick. So I decided, I knew the second I saw Cinderace, I need to pick it. It's a very good Pokemon with redirection, and it's also just very strong on its own. I'd been wrecked by it last season, so that was the Week 9 battle that I have not posted, but I got swept by the Cinderace. And the ability to have Libero, which changes the Pokemon's type to the type of move it's about to use, is just so powerful, because Cinderace can just wreck Pokemon with stab and powerful moves such as Pyro Ball, High Jump Kick, Iron Head, Bounce. It's such a powerful Pokemon, especially if it Dynamaxes, and I was really glad to get this type shifting Pokemon on my team too. Plus, it gives me good speed control as a 119 base speed Pokemon, and it has 116 base attack. So my next pick was Orbital G-Max. I sniped this from someone who was about to pick it. But I knew that Stakataka paired really well with Orbital for multiple reasons. One is Orbital's ability Telepathy, which allows it to not take damage from allies' moves, which means that Stakataka could use Earthquake or Brutal Swing and Orbital would not get touched by it. Meanwhile, all the other things would. Orbital also gets moves like Helping Hand, and it can set Light Screen and Reflect. It's very specially bulky, as if I pull it up. It has a base 120 special defense and also has base 110 defense. Plus, it gets Calm Mind and Stored Power, so if you set up that Calm Mind, you can hit hard with Stored Power as well. And because I drafted G-Max, not only because of how the draft worked, let me go over how the draft worked real quick. You got 11 Pokemon the same as last season. 1 tier 1, 2 tier 2s, 2 tier 3s, 1 tier 4, and 4 frees with a base of 250 points. However, your G-Max slot, if it was a tier 1 G-Max, it costed you 50 points. If it was a tier 2 G-Max, it costed you no points. And if it was a tier 3 G-Max, it costed you, gave you 50 points. So I want to grab a tier 3 G-Max. And Orbital specifically is really good for Stakataka, as Orbital can not only also set Trick Room against G-Max Gravitas, which is a Psychic type attack that enables gravity, which is a very interesting thing. It makes it so that flying type moves just straight up don't work, and ground type moves can hit flying types. So I think gravity is really interesting, and I definitely want to utilize it. Also, it negates the ability levitate too, which is very interesting. So all in all, I just really want to try out gravity. My next pick was Vanilluxe. Vanilluxe is a very interesting Pokemon. I saw it do its work last season, and its sole ice typing and its ability to set Snow Warning and Aurora Veil is pretty good. Alola Ninetales was sniped from me before I could pick it, but Vanilluxe arguably is kind of better here with its base 110 special attack. Has a base 79 speed though. It doesn't get great move coverage. It only gets 5 types of moves, 2 of which are physical, 6 types of moves, 2 of which are physical only, so they aren't its strong suit. But it gets moves like Aurora Veil, so since it sets that snow, it can protect itself. It gets Ally Switch too, along with Orbeetle. I believe all the Pokemon I drafted so far can get Ally Switch, which is very dangerous. It can Blizzard spam and always hit the Blizzard because it sets its own hail. And it also gets other interesting moves like Freeze Dry as well. So it's a good supportive Pokemon. It can set Light Screen but not Reflect, so I think that's not great. But all in all, I thought Vanilluxe was a pretty solid pick. It countered a lot of Pokemon in the current meta, as we are playing in Series 7 rules. So you can draft certain legends, which are spread throughout the tiers, and you can draft, but you can't draft box legends. But I still thought Vanilluxe was very powerful. It helps me hit things like Dragonite, it helps me hit all the dragon types, and it also helps me hit ground and flying types, which is a very important thing. My next pick was Alolan Sandslash to pair with Vanilluxe. Alolan Sandslash gets the ability Slush Rush, I believe, and that allows the Alolan Sandslash to have its speed doubled when in hail. And while its speed is 65, the base speed becomes 130, which is pretty fast when paired up with something. And it has base attack 100 and base defense of 120 in exchange for not having a good special attack. But the amount of coverage it gets steel, dark, ground, rock, poison, ice, ghost, fighting, normal, and bug. The amount of coverage it gets as well, and moves like Triple Axle too, or Steel Roller, are just very powerful in the meta. Plus, I could set up the hail at first, and I could switch an Indeedee and hit Steel Roller to really pack on the damage. Or I could just spam Earthquake with something like Orbeetle as well. Excuse me. Anyway, I'll go on to my next pick. Sandslash was a tier 2 as well, so I've drafted a tier 1, then a tier 1 free, G-Max, tier 2, and another tier 2. First, I didn't realize Vanilluxe was a tier 2, but then when I drafted it, I realized it, so I had to adjust accordingly. My next pick was another free Indeedee female. I knew I needed a redirector at this point of the draft, so I was debating between Clefable and Indeedee female, which were both on the table. And while Clefable was a good bulky redirector, that's a fairy type too, Indeedee gets the psychic terrain to stop priority moves and Prankster, which is also good. Plus, it gets Expanding Force and Follow Me, so I decided to draft Indeedee, and also Indeedee can set screens, so I thought Indeedee was a much better pick, and it's just really fits on my team. It gives Cinderace that redirection it needs to really perform well. It can't set Trick Room for Stack Attack up, but can redirect. Well, Stack Attack it does set Trick Room on its own and Sweep. And it's just all in all a very helpful Pokemon to have on this team. And it fits in really well. My next pick was a tier 3, Vikavolt. Fun fact, Vikavolt was my first shiny Pokemon I ever hunted. Well, Grubbin at least. And Vikavolt is a very interesting Pokemon. It has a base 43 speed stat. However, if I go to here, It has a special attack stat of 145 as a kind of railgun Pokemon. And it's kind of bulky too, with a base HP stat of 77 and defense of 90, as well as special defense of 75. It gets a good amount of coverage for what it is too. So Vikavolt was just a very helpful Pokemon. Plus, it's pretty good support too. It gets the move Eerie Impulse to really just lower the target's special attack a lot. And it also gets moves like Electro Web to lower their speed. And Thunderbolt, of course. Just a lot of good support moves, and it's also just a very strong Pokemon and all. And it has Levitate, so that negates the electric type ground weakness. My next pick is Ribombee. Ribombee is very interesting Pokemon, in my opinion. And the second I originally wasn't going to draft Ribombee, but my strategies opened up. I could pick more Pokemon, and I saw a moderator talking, another fellow moderator, I don't remember which, is either Ace of Hearts of the Sparta Phalanx, or it was Jay Placey, and they mentioned Speed Swap on Stakataka, and I realized, holy, that Ribombee is such a good Pokemon on my team. It gets Pollen Puff to heal my Pokemon up, and it can also Speed Swap Stakataka and make Stakataka one of the fastest things on the field, because if I'm correct, Ribombee has a base speed of 124, so if I speed swap Ribombee's max speed with Stakataka would become a giant threat really quickly. Or I could do that with something like Vikavolt, or I could speed swap with any of my Pokemon, really, and make them big threats. It also covers my Fairy type necessity, which I did not have at the time. It also gets Ally Switch. I mean, what doesn't get Ally Switch at this point? It gets Baton Pass and some setup moves. It gets Skill Swap too, but I don't see that being too helpful. It also gets a Wonder Room and Magic Room, not Trick Room. Sunny Day can set. It's just a very helpful Pokemon. And it can also set screens on its own too, so I have a lot of screen setters. I have like 3 or 4 screen setters at this point. And Ribombee, all in all, was just a very interesting pick for me and something that I hope to utilize. My next pick was Basculin. We are the only division to have 2 people pick Basculin, as I sniped it from one other person as well. The same person who wanted G-Max Orbeetle, actually. And Basculin is a really fun Pokemon because the blue form, which is the one I drafted, gets the abilities Adaptability and Mold Breaker, which adaptability is pretty good. But it also gets the ability Rockhead, so I can use recoil moves without taking recoil damage, such as Double Edge, which is a base 120 normal move, or Head Smash, which is a base 150 rock move. And Basculin is also pretty fast with a base speed of 92. And I thought that having something as speedy as Basculin was very helpful to me. And is also a really fun water type that I can utilize. My next pick, I heard someone in another Discord I'm in, who's also drafting, mention that Noivern was sniped from them, so they had to pick a different Pokemon. So I decided, why not draft Noivern myself? I could use some more speed control, and plus it covers my Dragon type need that I have, and my Flying type need that I have. So I then drafted Noivern, who's a base, let me check one second. Noivern has a base of 123 speed, just 1 speed stat slower than Ribombee, and it is a very helpful Dragon type Pokemon in the fact that it gets a lot of different moves. It can be physical, although you're most likely going to run it special, as it gets something like Boom Burst. So you could run like Boom Burst, Throat Spray, and I could run something with Telepathy, like Orbeetle. And it also just gets a lot of coverage. If I was running special, it gets a Fire, Normal, Fighting even, Ghost, Flying, Dragon, Psychic, Dark, Grass. So, all in all, I thought Noivern was a very nice pickup to my team, as it gives me that extra speed coverage, and it can put on some damage really well. My final pick, I had 25 free points left, So I decided to draft Lycanroc as I really need some rock coverage. And Lycanroc just helped cover what was missing on my team, as it was the midnight form of Lycanroc I drafted. It also gets no guard, so it can hit things like Stone Edge and Rock Slide and never miss those moves in exchange for always having moves hit it. But it also gets the move Snarl, which can lower his special attack a lot, and is very nice to mess up with your opponents. It gets Brick Break to break those screens too. And all in all, I thought Lycanroc was a very good last pick to my draft. So that's the draft I picked for the UGA. I have 2 switches I have to use by Monday if I would like to, but I don't think I will. Because although people are telling me that I should switch my mode from Hail to Rain, I want to use Hail, and I think that this is going to be a really fun team. I have multiple different modes that I can use, and I think that my draft was very good in that way. I hope you guys also enjoy my draft, as I will be posting battles in higher quality too. And that's about it for this video. I will be seeing you soon with my Week 1 team breakdown, as I've just finished preparing the Week 1 team. And, well, I won't be posting it, I'll be recording it, because I don't want to give away my strategy to my opponent. But that's about it. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like and maybe even subscribe. You can always undo it. And that's about it for me. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.